Welcome to the best of Up to the Minute. I'm Todd Duplantis. May is Asian American Pacific Islander Heritage Month. Today, we look back at 3 restaurants owned by Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders who are contributing to the overall flavor of this city. We start with Flippin' Patties, taking you back to May of 2023.
It is Tasty Tuesday. We've got a returning guest, and you may recognize the restaurant. They were a food truck first. We're going to hear all about it. Don Jante is the chef and co-owner of Flippin' Patties Filipino restaurant. Don, good to see you back on the show. Before we get into the details of your journey, we know, tell us how you became known as the Filipino karaoke food truck. Tell us about that.
Oh, so we started about 10 years ago and just hit the streets with karaoke and our family recipes and Filipino flavors. Yeah.
And was the karaoke as popular as your food?
It was more popular than our food. That's the only reason why people came.
Love the karaoke. Yeah. Let's talk about the concept. You opened Flippin' Patties with your cousin to combine your cultures with something America could understand. We all love our hamburgers here. But who came up with the idea of Filipino hamburgers, and what does that involve?
So it was a favorite food of ours, and we thought it would be fitting to bridge that gap with burgers. So we used to make siopao. And then that's how we came up with the steamed buns and the burgers. Yeah.
And you always wanted to run a food truck? I mean, was that the fastest way to get your product out there?
No, we actually wanted to start a bakery, me and different cousins and my wife. But that didn't pan out. We were at some bar, Marquee 2, and then we saw a food truck out, and we figured that would be the most cost-effective way to get our product out.
And was it true when you first started, you were having like 100 people in line?
The first day it was rough. Yeah, the first couple of days, the first weeks, yeah, it was intense.
At what point did you guys say, you know what, this is the way to go and quit your day jobs to get going with it?
We actually quit our day jobs. Well, I quit my day job to get it started way before. And yeah, we just decided to go all in and give it a shot. Thankfully, it worked out.
And you've got a brick and mortar now, and you also serve other dishes as well. Tell us about the toasted garlic rice dish.
Oh, so that's our kind of like a breakfast food. It's at our homes, it was a day-old rice. So what our mom would do would cook it with garlic and garlic seasonings, and then make it really good with some longanisa, eggs, basically anything, even coffee. Like coffee is on the rice.
Do y'all do all that at the restaurant too, the way your mom made it, or who taught you how to cook?
Yeah, we pretty much tried to do it the way our mothers did it. The only difference is they go by taste. They don't go by measurements.
Right.
So that's the difference. We had to figure out how to scale, all of the products and keep it all consistent. So that was tough. But yeah, we do it pretty much how our mom make it.
And also, I read in my notes that your grandmother was a big inspiration for you as well?
Yes, she was. So when I was little, she's kind of an entrepreneur. She was an entrepreneur. So she made siopaos at the house. And that's the first time I remember seeing the siopaos. So siopaos is the steamed bun with meat inside. And then years later, me and my wife and one of my cousins from Philippines started making it at the house. So yeah, that's how it all started.
What is halo halo?
That's the most famous Filipino dish. So shaved ice, sugar palm, coconut jellies, different kinds of jellies, red mung bean, ube ice cream, vanilla ice cream. So there's a lot of different varieties too, how people make it. Some people put cereal in there.
Wow. Yeah. So you're going to be making something for us now, which is one of my favorite Filipino foods, lumpia. Maybe you can get started on that. And I've got a few other questions for you as well. But is this like a Filipino version of an egg roll? Would you describe it as that?
Yeah. So I think it originated, like they call it Shanghai. Shanghai rolls or Shanghai spring rolls, I think.
Okay.
Or they call it lumpia. We call it flip rolls here, but it's a family recipe. It's yeah, Filipino egg roll pretty much.
You want
So
to show us your ingredients and get started with that?
yeah. So it's really we try to keep everything natural and simple here. So we have our in-house ground pork. So we do a lot of trimmings when we smoke other dishes that we have here, and we use all the excess meat and we grind it up. Then we have just a couple ingredients. We got carrots. We use have the onions. Go ahead.
I'll tell you, I've rolled a few of these myself. My daughter's mother is half Filipino, so her mother, was in the house, and she actually taught me to roll a few of these. So I've had some experience making these. I can't get enough of them though.
Right? Yeah. The rolling is fun, but when we're rolling 2,000, 4,000, 5,000 a week, it's pretty back breaking.
I guess so. Yeah. Is this one of the more popular things? I imagine everybody comes in will want it as maybe an appetizer or something as a side dish.
Yeah, we get a lot of catering orders for this.
Okay.
They like to order it by the hundreds. So yeah, which is fun.
But and first you got to bind it together.
I'm sorry?
You got an egg that was an egg to bind it all together?
That's correct. Yes. Then we added, garlic, the black pepper, onions, carrots, seasoning, sea salt. Then we mix it all up. Really good.
And how long? I noticed the meats aren't cooked yet. How long do you have to bake these or do you fry them?
We fry them.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. It's about 5 minutes to fry.
Okay.
3 to 5 minutes. Yes, sir. So back when we used to make this at the house, we used to actually taste this raw, but not anymore. Thank goodness.
I'm down with that. Yeah, I'm down with a little raw meat every now and then.
All right, so there we got it. That's the base, and then we get our egg roll wrapper right here.
Which, folks, if you haven't bought egg roll wrappers, you need to bring them into your life. They're fun to play around with. You get them wet, and it's a whole different texture. It looks kind of weird when you first take them out of the package, but once you get them wet, they're like a very pliable texture.
That's correct. And add about 2 ounces of meat. And then we just roll. We roll up, roll down, roll back up. Close the sides, give it that good runway. And roll it. Let's finish.
How many of those can you roll in a minute, Don?
Roll in a minute? Oh,
yeah, how many could you do?
Maybe 50.
50? Wow. Wow. Yeah. You're taking your time with that one, I noticed, so we could see it. And you fry it up till it gets golden brown, about 5 minutes, you say?
That's correct. At 325 to 350 oil.
Do you serve it with fish sauce to dip in, or what exactly do you use to dip in it?
We serve it with chili sauce, sweet chili sauce, and also Filipinos love vinegar. So we have a spice vinegar called suka.
Okay.
Yeah.
And is karaoke still part of your on the menu at your restaurant?
Oh, you know it. Every Friday night we do karaoke. Also, when people ask for it, we turn it up too.
Where can people find you? And we'll have your social media handles and all that in our post. But where is your physical location?
So we're in Energy Corridor, 1809 Eldridge Parkway, 77077.
All right.
Yeah, check us out.
I'm going to get out there on a Friday night. I want to get my food on, man. Don, it's always
good. Let's do it.
We appreciate you being on the show. We wish you continued success out there in the Energy Corridor, and we're going to get out there soon.
Thank you guys so much for having me.
Thanks, Don.
My vision for HEC's AI program focuses on real-world education, propelling our students to be leaders of innovation. We will build lasting partnerships with our brilliant community of space and technology experts. I know we're doing interesting things in preparing students for the space industry. Can Dr. Barillo Hopkins' avatar tell us more?
ACC's bachelor's degree in AI and robotics is the first of its kind in the nation. We here at ACC merge theory with practical hands-on skills. Our partnerships with tech giants like Intel and AWS provide our students with real-world projects and job opportunities.
Begin your journey from HCC to the stars.
We're joined now by Linda Nguyen, who is the founder of Linda's Tropical Fruits. She's our Tasty Tuesday guest. Linda, it's good to see you.
Yeah, hey,
you got it.
Thank you for having me today, Todd.
Yeah, so thanks for joining us. First off, let's talk about the concept of your store. First off, where are you guys located?
So we are in the heart of Chinatown here on Bel Air Boulevard. If you know Kim Sung, we're actually just across the street from Kim Sung on Bel Air.
Okay. And tell us a bit about your place and what inspired you to start an exotic fruit store.
So, I am from Vietnam, and in our country, we have all these tropical exotic fruits. I moved here when I was 7 years old, and, finding these fruits were not easy. So as I went to Florida to visit on my baby moon and discover all my childhood fruits, so with all the excitement and the passion that I have, I said, you know what, I got to share this with everybody, because if I want it, then all my cousins and families and friends will all want it. So we end up just really working hard towards that and finding every fruits that I could possibly want and taste. And I wanted to bring it here and to share it to everyone. And thank God everybody else loved it too, not just me. So.
You have one of the fruits, I guess, that inspired all this was soursop. Is that correct? What is that?
Yes. You want to see a soursop, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, so this is one of the fruit that we grow up eating. This is actually one of the bigger fruit that we got here. This is a soursop, and it's also known as anona or guanabana in Spanish. So for us, this is we grow up eating this.
What does it taste like for those of us who've never had this before?
I would say it's a cross between a pineapple and a coconut.
A pineapple and a coconut. All right, that's pretty interesting. Do you get these fruits sent from Florida? Is that where they're coming from to you? Are they imported through Florida, or do you get them directly from overseas to you?
Oh, yeah. So we have them everywhere. So it depends on the fruits. Such as this here is our pink pomelo. These are imported from Vietnam coming in. Or durians, which is that stinky fruits that everyone talks about. Okay. These are also imported from Thailand and also from Vietnam or Malaysia at one time. And then we have Florida grown fruits, and then we have from Mexico. These are actually from Spain. These loquats are from Spain.
Oh, wow. Look at that. Okay.
Yeah. And we have Hawaii too. So anywhere all over the world, it's here at Linda's Tropical Fruit. So you don't have to go anywhere else.
Now, the fruit you were holding up just a moment ago, very controversial. The durum, is that what it's called?
Yes, the durian. This is
so that one, from what I understand, correct me if I'm wrong, some countries are banning people from taking this into closed locations. Is that true?
Usually hotels, yes. Thailand and Singapore are you're not allowed to bring this inside because it's just so strong. I mean, funny story is that one time I was shipping this on an airplane on Southwest Cargo, and the plane had to stop because they were trying to find out where the gas leaking was. Oh. And it was my fruit. It was true story.
And I've heard, I've never had a chance to taste it. I probably would taste it one day, but I haven't heard good things from people who've tasted it. They say it tastes like spoiled onions. Is there any truth to that? Do you like the fruit? What does it taste like in your opinion?
So honestly, I grew up not liking this fruit. Even though we had it in our backyard, we just did not like it at all. But because my husband didn't like it at the time we were dating, I kept on making smoothie, and I thought it was a funny joke, and I give it to him to drink, and he just spits it out, and I'm like, haha, look at me, I'm drinking it. So I started growing to love it, which is great because now I really have to eat it, you know?
Yeah.
Honestly, the texture of it is like a creme brulee texture, which is very creamy and stuff. but the smell of it, it's like a goat cheese smell. So you just kind of just combine it together.
I imagine you have a lot of people that come to your shop wanting to get the comfort foods they grew up with in their native country. Do you have a lot of people that are reminiscing when they come in, like, I haven't had that in so many years? What's the most popular one they come in and reminisce over?
Honestly, exactly. It's a childhood fruit. I had a friend who just got this fruit and he goes, "Oh my gosh, what is this fruit?" I'm like, "It's loquash." Like, I had this when I was little. I haven't had it for so long, and it's like, yeah, it's here, and they're like, "Well, now I got to find a tree and grow it." So
Right.
it's like, we have many, many stories because, as we grow up, what we eat and we miss the smell and the taste of it, just like mom's cooking,
Right.
Yeah.
And I understand you got your knife with you and you're going to show us the inside of some of these fruits. Which one you're going to show there?
So the first one I would like to show everyone is called mangosteen. It's also known as queen of fruit, which we use on our logo. This is one of the best tasting fruits there is. So it's beautiful and white in the inside. Look how beautiful that is.
And is it very sweet?
It tastes mildly sweet, a little hint of sourness to it, and then I don't know. It's just so hard to describe these fruits because you have to really say, "Oh, does it taste like similar to grapes or an apple?" It just doesn't. You just have to try it.
I mean, I feel like here in the States, we're very boring with our fruits. You've got some good stuff, unique taste.
The mangoes, right? Yes.
Yeah.
And believe it or not, when mango season comes in, Linda Tropical Fruits, we have over 20 different varieties of mangoes that you can taste. So I'm going to cut another one, which is this is called a star apple. It's nothing like an apple that you see every day. And the reason to call a star apple is when you cut into it, it has a star. Wow, you can see it.
Oh wow, yeah, I see what you're talking about.
Yeah, so it's a star apple.
Now, once again, being the boring American that I am, what does it taste like?
Gosh, it's hard. Like I said, it's really hard to say. It's also known as a milky fruit. So before I cut it, I'm supposed to be massaging the fruit. So all that milky fat would come out, And I do have a dragon fruit. There's two kind of dragon fruits here. There's a white dragon fruits and there's red, but they both look pink, right? But one is white. I'm going to cut that out. Because you see this everywhere, every place. Is that beautiful?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And then we have a red one, which is also pink outside. But it's red.
It looks like a beet on the inside almost.
It does. Yeah. It does. It does. And then we also have a yellow one, which is very high in antioxidant. What I really like is this one.
Wow. Look at that.
Do you know what this is, Todd?
No, I have no idea.
Give me a guess. Just guess.
I'm going to go.
That every kid loves eating.
I'm going to go with a turkey breast, a smoked turkey breast.
Good one. But this is what chocolate is made out of. This is like the cow pots.
Okay.
Cow pots.
And you can eat that as a fruit or make it into a smoothie, or what would you do with it?
No, you don't. I'm actually going to harder to cut this here, but I'm going to do it. Oh. Hold on. I'm struggling with this a little.
It looks difficult to cut open. You sure that's not smoked turkey? Okay. Wow, look at that. That almost looks like alien right there.
Yes.
Okay.
So these are the pots that you can eat fresh. And then once you're done with the seed, you can just dry and grind it up into making, I think in Mexico, they make it mole. But for us, you make chocolate.
Okay.
So
that's incredible.
Mm-hmm. So cool.
Does it have a chocolatey taste to it?
No, not at all. You got to add sugar and milk and a lot of sugar, and then it becomes chocolate because it's very, I would say, bitter.
Linda, once again, you guys are open. What's your hours real quickly? And we're going to post your social media information as well.
We're open every single day. We don't close, even New Year, from 10 to 7:30 p.m.
All right.
Every day.
Linda Nguyen, she's the founder and owner of Linda's Tropical Fruits, our Tasty Tuesday guest. Thank you so much for joining us. We look forward to seeing you in the future, and I'm sure a lot of people are going to get out there and trying those fruits.
Thank you so much, Todd. Thank you again for having me.
All right, thank you.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move, so I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day, I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
We've got a special guest returning to the show, Chef Vanarin, Cook, who is with Koffeteria Bakery and Café. He's our Tasty Tuesday guest. Chef Van, welcome back to the show.
Awesome. Thanks, Todd. How are you?
I'm doing good. Now, we are not only talking about your restaurant, but it's also AAPI month. And maybe you can tell us a bit about your background and your Cambodian roots.
Absolutely. I am first generation Cambodian American. My parents are refugees from the Cambodian, and we've been in Houston for a little bit over 50 years now. So Koffeteria is basically our bakery. We do a lot of Cambodian inspired pastries. And we also do once a month, we do a Cambodian dinner just to kind of bring the awareness of Cambodian food and our cuisine in general, kind of nestled between Thailand and Vietnam. And so it's very unknown what we are about and our Cambodian food in general. And so it's kind of been nice to be like that frontier men kind of push our cuisine and see where it goes.
Now, before you started your own place, you were on you found an audience through a couple of national TV shows. Maybe you can tell us about that.
Oh, sure. Yeah, I was 20 years old. You do a bunch of crazy things. And even when I wasn't unprepared, I knew that doing something like Top Chef, Just Desserts, the spinoff from the Emmy Award-winning Top Chef. I was on season 2 then and met a lot of really cool people. One of them is my mentor now, Sally, and she lives in LA. And she's just been like crazy guiding force in my life the last 10, 15 years and just kind of helping me figure out my career. She was the very first woman to win a Valrhona chocolate competition. So she's a trailblazer herself. So it's a good person to have on your side.
Being on those shows, I mean, obviously, did they start opening a lot of doors for you, getting the recognition?
Honestly, the recognition told me that I wasn't ready. And I think that was the big catalyst that kind of helped me move to New York City and Chicago and kind of pursue those bigger kitchens. I was born and raised in Houston, and so my entire experience was based around Houston restaurants. I kind of got a taste of that working for Jean-Georges in downtown when he had a restaurant here in Houston. It kind of gave me kind of a taste of like the New York life and what they do. There was a silent kitchen. It was a very strict brigade-driven kitchen. So instead of being scared, I kind of ran towards that fear a little bit more and deep into it. I worked at a few Michelin-star restaurants in New York. Open up a hotel in Chicago. So yeah, it's one of those things where you just got to learn to trust yourself and go with it.
Let me ask you this. You opened Koffeteria and you're in Edu, which is East Side. What's your relationship out there?
Yeah, so that's kind of the original Chinatown and what I like to actually refer to as Second Ward. I just can't go down that route of those weird acronyms. Especially living in New York City, and like I understood Dumbo, like they added an O to the end of it because no one wants to live at the down under the Manhattan Bridge. So I get that. But the Second Ward has been super close to my heart. Like my uncle owned a Chinese restaurant called the Silver House right there on Chartres. That's where every Cambodian family who ever got married, including my parents when they were arranged marriage, they got married at that place. It's still there. It's not operating. But I mean, it's one of those inevitable breakdowns when the 45 North expansion is going to come. So a lot of that stuff's going to get knocked down. And so it's kind of nice to be part of that revitalization of the old Asia town, kind of representing the only Asian establishment besides Nguyen out there. So
Tell us a bit about, you're a pastry chef, is that correct? Is that your specialty? Tell us a bit about what some of the items that you make that you really like doing.
Yeah, I mean, I consider myself just a cook. I started out in savory cooking. I did that for about 7 years, and just kind of transitioned into pastries when I opened up Hotel Zaza right there at the museum district. And so it was kind of like a moment for me to really delve into that. And then, finding out that my last name, Kuch, is a German surname for someone who's a pastry cook. It's one of those things I'm like, okay, I didn't really want to do pastries because that's like, for me, a glorified donut maker. Because we're like, I'm Cambodian, and so we had a bunch of donut shops as well. Very entrepreneurial family. Yeah, so I love making things that are kind of in between the savory and sweet lines. I like to really play around with like the saltiness and things, and salt's an electrolyte, so it's gonna bring out and awaken all your taste buds on your tongue anyways. And so the idea of putting something salty on something sweet, to me, it's very natural.
Tell us, I'm looking through some of the items. One thing that sticks out is the hot Cheeto croissant. Maybe you can tell us about that. How'd you come up with that?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like hot Cheetos and Takis is very much like a Houston thing. And I don't know whether, I learned through culinary school that geographically, if you're from the south side of the country, you tend to eat a lot more spicy things because it helps you sweat. And obviously hot Cheetos, especially the black extra hot ones, make you sweat. And then filling it with nacho cheese just reminds me of like getting nachos from like a, convenience store or like a grocery store, kind of our version of a bodega. Especially the one next to my grandma's old washateria on West Gray. It's now like a Pink's Pizza, but kind of reminds me of that whole childhood moment of like going to the store next to my grandma's washateria, which, by the way, that's why I named it Koffeteria. It's kind of an homage to my grandma's washateria. She was the very first person who had a business in Houston, and washateria is very much like a Southern word. When I was living in New York, I asked someone where the washateria was, and they're like, "What are you talking about?" Because it's called a laundromat. Yeah, but that's kind of how I do. I've always done my career. It's kind of done like super crazy flavors, and now we're kind of focusing more on like Cambodian inspired things. So it's been a really cool opportunity to kind of do that.
Chef Van, we appreciate you joining us again on the show. We're going to have all the information on Koffeteria Bakery and Cafe in our social media post after the show. Continued success. Thanks for being here again.
My pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thanks for joining us on the Best of Up to the Minute. Remember, we're on live daily, most Mondays through Fridays at 10 a.m. Catch us live at that time. And you can also find us in social media on YouTube and Facebook under the Houston Community College District's page. I'm Todd Duplantis, and we'll see you again next time.